Hello family and friends, it's Kim here from Kim's Country Corner, and today I'm in Monroe City, Missouri. I'm at the senior housing complex and I'm in front of my apartment. I have an apartment here at the senior housing complex in Monroe City and I absolutely love it. I know I spend a lot of time out at the homestead because I love it out there too, but I have a very nice apartment here in town. And I was finally able to get up here. As you know, because John has fractured his foot and is unable to walk, I've been spending a lot of time out at the homestead helping him out with his needs and household chores and taking care of the humongous yards and all the gardens out there. But I have been able to find some time to get up here and take care of the gardens up here. You saw the video. I hope you've seen the video where I've done all the weeding and the maintenance part. And today is going to be the video where I get to show it off. So we're going to take a walk here and look at the Monroe City Senior Housing Gardens. Today in June, I'm only going to show you the front part of the complex because they're doing some work in the back. Plus I haven't had a chance to talk to my backyard neighbors to see if they're willing to let me video, and I don't like to video unless I have permission. So maybe we'll get to look at what they're doing in July, but today in June we're going to skip the back part and we're only going to look at the front here. After all the work I did getting all the weeds out, I will have to say it is looking pretty good. So let's go ahead and do the June walk around here at the Monroe City Senior Housing Apartment Gardens. Okay, family and friends, so apartment number 8 here on the corner. This is my apartment, and to tell you the truth, I have not gotten a lot of work done on my garden. But it's not looking too bad. I had to make a few changes, which I'll tell you about. The first thing you're probably going to notice is this very large, wild-looking sunflower. That is a volunteer sunflower that was dropped from the bird feeder, and I decided to just let it go because it is beautiful. It kind of has a little wild look to it, but I really like it. I have not gotten anything done on my fairy garden there. I did plant some zinnias, and you can see like one there and one back there and one over in there, but they're not doing very well. I don't know why, but anyway, I don't have a lot of time to spend worrying about it right now, so that spot will just stay blank and open. As you can see, my shrubs are staying green, so I'm happy about that. But these shrubs don't look too bad. And then this fairy garden tub down here, I have used somewhere else, which I will show you in just a little bit. So I plan to replace the tub when I have time, but right now that's just open there. And I did not get any tomatoes put in here. I got tomatoes put in out at the farm. And then my stumpery is just starting. I think stumperies are cool. So I have a miniature version there. All right, let's go ahead and walk on around the senior housing complex here so you can see some of the other gardens. My neighbors here in number 9, they like to put vegetables in front of their apartment. And I did get permission from her to videotape their little tomato patch here. They really like tomatoes. And they have some lilies that were given to them. And one year they had peppers, but I'm not seeing peppers this year. So anyway, they like to do veggies. I just think it's neat that everyone has their little garden and can do what they want. Before we were only given permission to have a garden bed that big. I think that's like 2 foot by 8 maybe. But I went to the board and asked if we could extend the beds out to meet the patio, and we were given permission to do that. It gives us more gardening space, and it makes it just as easy on the mower, because the people that mow can come around and then just mow a straight line here without having to do the indention. However, it was left up to everyone how they wanted to do it, and Mary and Rick chose not to extend their vegetable garden. They like the size that they have, which I think is sensible, because you want a garden that you're able to handle, and this is what they wanted, and so that's what they went with, and I think it looks really nice. They do an awesome job keeping their apartment looking good, which as a neighbor I really appreciate. You guys know how much clutter and weeds bother me, and I don't ever have to worry about that with them. All right, let's go look at the south garden. So I call this the Monroe City Senior Housing South Garden because it is on the south side of the building and it takes up the full side. There's actually 2 residents that live on this side. Their doors open on the ends, but this is their side wall. And I got permission from both of them to put in this garden and to deal with the garden. So I do this as a volunteer, but I did have permission to do it. Okay, and I think that if you guys want to see what this looked like just 2 years ago, I do have a playlist called Senior Housing Gardens, and you can look at what I started with and what we're ending with. So we'll go ahead and we'll start down here. This is the west side. There's the laundry room. This is the west side. Whenever I say railroad ties though, I start with one up there at the east end because that one was already there. So we have railroad ties 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that's the way I have them sectioned. And each section is kind of a repeat of the other sections, but they will have a few surprises thrown in. So and just to keep things in sequence, let's go ahead and start up here at railroad tie number 1. Alright, so this neighbor's front garden, I was given permission by her and her son to help take care of it. So, yes, and I have done a lot of work on this garden. I just didn't have my phone that day. I had left it at the farm, so I just worked without filming. But let me tell you what I did do. So if you recognize the tub, I brought my tub up here to use as like a centerpiece because I had put in these hostas last year, and I just felt like there needed to be something in the middle. So I did that little arrangement there in the middle. But anyway, we have the centerpiece, the tub with the coleuses, and then on each side I have the hostas. And then she has some lilies here, and she has a rose bush there. And then what I did was this bed was becoming very weedy, so I cleared it all off, and then I laid down cardboard, and then I relined it with the rocks. The rocks were already here, but they were like just everywhere. So what I did was I took all the rocks out, laid down the cardboard, and then put the rocks back in like a nice line border, and then I filled it in with wood chips. So this should not get quite so weedy and messy this year. which I'm happy since I can't be up here as often to take care of these gardens. I have to try to come up with as maintenance-free plans as I'm able. And her roses need to be deadheaded. Her neighbor next door here, Maggie, came over and gave both of the rose bushes prunes this spring because I was sick this spring, so she had come over to do that part. And then after I got to feeling better, I came up and did the rest of the bed. Unfortunately, Mrs. Chitwood has passed away this year. She's no longer there. Right now, there's no one in this apartment. So I'm just hoping that whoever the new residents are, that either they like gardening or they will continue to let me take care of it. All right, so let's go on around here to the south side garden. And this is the east end. And in the morning, it gets a little bit of shade, but by 10 or 11 o'clock, it becomes full sun. So we are now at the southeast corner of the garden, of the main garden here, and it was a weedy mess. And I think you guys have already seen the video where I went in and took out all the weeds and put down new mulch. I ran out of cardboard and mulch, so railroad tie number 1 here is not yet done, and part of railroad 2 is not done. I got half of it done, but anyway, it still doesn't look too bad, and I will eventually get around to it. But for those of you that are new, let me just give you an overview here. So this railroad tie number 1 had already been started by this resident here, but as she got older, it had kind of gone wild. So we got permission to revamp it. So I just kind of went in with my style and kind of incorporated it into what she already had. And then for each railroad tie, I kind of did a repeat of my pattern. So let me tell you what my pattern was first. So in each of these railroad ties, I put in 3 winter gem boxwoods. See, 1, 2, 3. Now, don't judge, because if you guys have watched any of my videos this year, you will know I've had a hard time with the boxwoods this year, and I might have to replace some. I don't know what's going on, because I will have some that are living, and then I will have some that are half dead and half living, and then I have some that are all the way dead. So I don't know what's up, but anyway, I am going to try to deal with it. I'm going to try to get some donations to get those replaced. All right, so here's my pattern for each of these railroad ties. The back row are winter gem boxwoods, 3, evenly spaced, and then in between the boxwoods, I have planted some like Asiatic lilies. I'm not sure. Brex, I ordered them from Brex. They did not send what I was expecting, so I'm not sure what these are, but they are beautiful. So I'm not going to complain. It was a beautiful mistake. I just can't tell you the name, but whatever they are beautiful, and I'm happy with them. All right, and then I had planted some over here too, but I don't know what happened, whether they got eaten or whether they just didn't come up. Okay, so then in the front of each of these railroad ties, I have the pattern of, pardon me, red daylilies, knockout rose, pardon me, red daylilies, knockout rose, and pardon me, red daylilies. Okay, and the pardon me, red daylilies I used because I was able to get them for free from the farm. Some of them are new, but some of them are transplants from the farm. So I was able to cut down on my cost by only having to buy a few. But yeah, So that's my pattern: daylily, rose, daylily, rose, daylily. Okay, and I did that for each railroad tie. Now there are a few surprises in each tie, at each railroad tie, because like up here we have some columbine growing, and then this rose was already here, so it's left in there to go along with my pattern. All right, so there's a look at railroad tie number 1. All right, and then we're going to move on down here to railroad tie number 2. And this railroad tie had already been started. There was not a railroad tie there. We put it in, but the bed had just a landscape timber there. And so we knew that they had started the bed. And this rose bush was already there. I do not know what kind it is, but it was a beautiful red climber. And then, like I said, they already had this rose bush there. And this rose bush was too far back because it kept running into the roof. So we moved it up, and we cut it all the way down for a rejuvenation prune, and then we had moved it up and so that it wouldn't grow into the roof anymore, and I'm hoping that it takes off again. And then I did put in some daylilies here to kind of fill in the gap. But this railroad tie is the one that kind of breaks the pattern, because it already had the rose bush, and then I just filled in with some daylilies. And then there are also some really pretty lilies back there that bloomed this spring. They were red, really pretty. All right, and then we did come in and take out the landscape timber and put down a railroad tie. John and I, we put in all the railroad ties to kind of give it a continuous look so that it looks like it all belongs together. All right, so let's move on down to railroad tie number 3. All right, so now I'm going to tell you about railroad tie number 3 here. And I used the same pattern. So in the very, very back, we have a winter gem boxwood, which looks really good. And then we have a winter gem boxwood, which is dead. And I'm thinking about replacing, if I can find the funding. And then we have a winter gem boxwood that is half alive and half dead. So if anyone out there can tell me what is going on with these boxwoods this year, it would be most helpful. Why do I have a live one, a dead one, and then a half and half? That's the way they all are. So like, that kind of tells me, okay, well, it's not the weather. If it was the weather, I would think they would all be dead. It's not the soil, or else they'd all be dead. It's not the watering, because I had a soaker hose, so they were all getting the same amount of watering. So is it just the individual plants? If it's just the individual plants, I don't mind replacing them, as long as there's no other issue. But isn't that just weird? I think it's weird. All right, but anyway. All right, but anyway, back to railroad tie number 3 description. So we have the winter gem boxwoods in the very last row in the back. And then in between the boxwoods, I had planted lilies. All right, and then so in between the boxwoods are these lilies. Okay, and then in the front row up here, I have, pardon me, red daylilies. Knockout roses. These are red. Pardon me, red daylilies again. Knockout roses. And then, pardon me, daylilies again. And I just like that pattern. I think it just helps to lead the eye along the garden. It gives it continuity, and I like the color palette. And then for each railroad tie, I have a little frog and turtle that's like overlooking their tie. They're like the gatekeepers of the railroad tie. All right, so that was number 3. And then we have this open area in front of this window, which I don't know what I'm going to do here yet. I was hoping to put zinnias in there. Did not get that done this year. I might put coneflowers since they are perennials and they'll come back each year. But I just don't have time this year. That's going to have to be a future project, is to figure out what to do in this open space. All right, and then we have some sedum there. Okay, and then we're up to railroad tie number 4. All right, and then once again, back here in the back, we have a winter gem boxwood that looks really good. We have a winter gem boxwood that is like half and half dead, half living. And then we have a winter gem boxwood that is dead. It has its own pattern going on. Live, half live, dead. Oh my goodness. All right. But then if you look at the front, we again have our pattern of lilies in between the boxwoods. And then the front row is, pardon me, red daylily, knockout rose, pardon me, red daylily, knockout rose, and pardon me, red daylily. Okay, so once again, I have that nice pattern with a few surprises thrown in, continuing on down the whole border here. Okay, and now we're up to railroad tie number 5. Now, this was the very last one we put in. I think we just did this last year. It was just last year. John came and helped me get the railroad tie in. We built up the dirt level with what we could. And then I put in the boxwoods I had got in the year before, the fall before. So we have the winter gem boxwood, winter gem boxwood, winter gem boxwood. And those have been in since a year ago fall. So they've been in a couple of falls now. And then here in the front, this pattern is a little bit different because she really likes the sedum. So we put in some sedum for her. And then she had won this mum at the senior citizen bingo game. And she asked if I could put it in. And I thought it was only an annual because that's what it said on the tag. But it has come back. So that's her mom that she won. Hence no daylily there. And then we have a knockout rose and then some more daylilies. And so I do try to talk to the residents about what they want and what they like. I explain to them my pattern of having continuity through the whole thing, but that it's okay to add surprises. So when she was telling me what she wanted, I was able to do that. And just like she wanted the sedum and she wanted the mum, well, what I did was I went ahead and I repeated that up here. So up here we have sedum and mum, and up here in this other open space, I may eventually put some sedum and maybe a mum. I might remove those daylilies there, this batch right there, and put sedum and mum to kind of like give it that continuity. But I just think that it is looking gorgeous. If you want to see what this garden looked like from the beginning, I do have a playlist. So there is the whole garden now, looking from west to east, and I just think it is looking gorgeous this year. Beautiful. And each year it's just going to get better, especially if I can figure out what's going on with the boxwoods, and once those boxwoods get grown up to full size, it's going to be stunning. I hope to replace the dead boxwoods, but it is stunning, and it's just going to get better with every year, because there's a saying that goes, first year they sleep, so that was like 2 years ago. Second year they creep, so that was like last year. And third year they leap, and that's this year, and I can tell a big difference. And if you want to see the difference, I have a playlist called Senior Housing Garden, and you can see what this looked like from the very beginning. Much has changed and much has improved. I do this as a volunteer, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. This has been a godsend for me to have this garden to work on. And I think that the residents have really enjoyed looking at it. All right, so that it concludes the June walk around here at the Monroe City Senior Housing Complex. Okay, family and friends, well, this concludes the June Monroe City Senior Housing Apartment Gardens walkthrough. Okay, walk around. It's the end of June, and this is how everything's looking, and I think everything's just beautiful, and I was happy to be able to share it with you. I'm very happy to be able to volunteer to do these gardens. It gives me something to do. I enjoy gardening. It gives me time to be outside getting some exercise and some fresh air, some time to myself to just reflect on things. And I've just thoroughly enjoyed having my time up here in the gardens and being able to share them with you. So if you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to know more about what's going on in my corner of the world, hit that subscribe button to Kim's Country Corner. Because whether I'm out at the homestead or I'm here in town, I like sharing my story with you. And I appreciate you being here to listen and to share your thoughts and ideas back to me. All right, I will talk to you all later. Bye for now. Awesome day.